Hey y'all, it's Toni. In today's video, I am showing you the process of me slashing and spreading a sleeve pattern, well, the sleeve pieces to make a pattern. So for those of you who don't know, again, my name is Toni. I am a fashion designer, former elementary school teacher, and currently designing again. So again, in this video, I'm just showing you that process. It's honestly been so long since I have slashed and spread a sleeve pattern, so you'll see that I hesitated here for a bit, and then I got somewhere, and then I was thinking, wait, this isn't looking right. Something's wrong. Also, not pictured on the other side, out of the frame, I have my patterning textbook, which I'll pop up on the screen. But I had my patterning textbook to reference because, again, y'all, it's been so long since I've done this. But I had to kind of refresh myself on how to do it. So what's happening right now in the frame is that I was looking at my slash and spread piece and I was thinking, okay, I want to add a little more fullness to the sleeve. However, I also want to spread out the sleeve itself. So I was thinking, okay, I need to cut across for the cap and then move that up. But then I was thinking, okay, well, maybe I should leave the cap alone and just spread the sleeve itself. So then that's what we're kind of doing here. So I'm going back and forth. I'm really fighting mentally right now because I'm like, okay, I'm doing it the right way. It's the right way. Let me look at the book again. So I'm taping. I had all pieces. And then I realized I needed to cut all the way through in order to get it to fully spread to the fullness that I wanted. So I'm putting it back on paper because I didn't want to cut through my patterning paper. So here you see I have all 6 pieces, and so I'm about to tape them down into place. Okay, right now I'm looking to see how I'm going to line them up, and then finally I said, you know what, let me just do half of the sleeve and put it on fold. Now ordinarily I would not recommend cutting it directly on fold like that because the sleeves, the front of the sleeve armhole and the back of the sleeve armhole are completely different. The front, I think it's the front or the back, is a little bit higher. I forget which pieces, but I believe it's the back of the sleeve that is actually a little bit higher, or it's a little bit lower. No, it's a little bit lower because it's in the back. Now in the front, it's a little bit higher because you have to accommodate for the bust, especially in a women's pattern, because you know there's just extra, you need to be able to accommodate again for that. So, excuse me. Yeah, so you have to be able to accommodate for the bust, so the armhole in the front is a little bit higher. However, because I was making a puff sleeve, but also a gathered puff sleeve, so almost a bishop sleeve basically is what I was making, except for I also want it to be slightly puffier at the top, which I'm gonna figure that out later. But I ended up just doing half of the sleeve and cutting it the same front and back. So like I said, there is a difference. However, I just kind of did not go with the difference. I wanted to make it as less of a hassle as possible. And there I was showing you my that I was listening to the Taylor Swift album, the Red, Taylor's version. Y'all, I can't even tell y'all how many times I have played Red this week. I have seriously been blasting Taylor Swift like I was going through a breakup, y'all, and I am single, so anyway, but Taylor Swift is just good. I feel like when I listen to Taylor Swift, it takes me back to high school. Like, I first started listening to Taylor Swift in 2007 when I was in high school. A classmate put me on to her, so, you know, and from then on, I've just always really liked Taylor Swift. But I really, really, really love, like, old Taylor Swift. Like, Teardrops on My Guitar, I'm Only Me With I'm With You, You Belong With Me. Those are, like, some of my top ones. But anyway, I'm like stuck on Taylor Swift right now. But anyway, it's a really good album. I'm telling y'all, I have been singing my heart out to Red because for some reason Loving Him was red. whoever him was. Okay, y'all, so at this point, I decided to kind of scrap a few things because I was like, wait, this isn't working. Let me go ahead and start over. So if you notice, I moved my pattern piece over and I just relaid everything out, then respread it, retaped it, and I measured it also to make sure that each of the spread pieces was equidistant, because that's also important. Also, y'all, if y'all hear any snoring in the background, my dog just came in here and started snoring, so I'm just using this ruler here. I really want to get one of those, I forgot what the name of that ruler is. I think it's like a square. It's not an L square, it's a right angle. It's a right angle. But I want to buy one that has the measurements on it. That one's just plastic and like there's nothing on it. But I like it. And I haven't bought another one yet. But it works. And then I'm using my clear ruler, which is just like my straight edge. It's the plastic one that basically every fashion designer slash fashion student has. It's amazing. I love that ruler so much. So I'm just redrawing the armholes and truing up my lines. To true your line basically means to make them correct. So straightening them out. This one I'm going with the curve. I meant to go and get my hip square. I mean, not my hip square, my hip ruler. But I just honestly did not go back in the room and get it. I went back in there, but I forgot what I was doing, and I came back out. And after I got back on the floor, I was just like, well, I'm not going back in there now. So I said, I'm just going to freehand this. And that's what you saw me doing earlier. And now I'm taking off my slash and spread pieces to reveal the pattern on the bottom. I still need to darken the lines so that I can, I'm fixing the armhole right now. Using one of my vary curves. And that's my short vary curve, the one that's usually used for armholes and necklines. And so again, I'm just truing up my lines right now, making sure that they make sense, that they are correctly rounded. I also added seam allowance, so I'm fixing that too. And it looks really light, but that's what we're going for. So I basically just have a really flared sleeve. I almost made a lantern sleeve. However, for the lantern sleeve, I would have needed to cut up 6 inches from the hem and then cut across the sleeve pattern and then spread the bottom of the hem and then spread the top of the hem and then put those two together. I'll try to put in a picture of what a lantern sleeve looks like somewhere on the screen so you can know what I'm talking about. But I decided not to do it for that one, because I had just finished that pattern, but I also still have the other 3 pieces from the last pattern. So I'm possibly going to do a lantern sleeve because they look really cool. And I don't think I've ever made a lantern sleeve. So I was like, why not? Let's do one. Just not right now because I wanted to finish this bishop sleeve first. So again, I'm just trimming up my line some more, working on that curve, making sure that it looks correct. See if I'm missing anything. I had to fix that curve so that it rounded the right way. I didn't want it to be too short towards the interior of my sleeve. I want it to be uniform. Okay, so that's basically what I'm doing here. I'm just continuing to work on it, making sure that all my lines are correct, because again, straight lines matter on here, especially when you're making a pattern. If your lines are not straight, your lines are not correct, then your pattern will be off and your garment will be off, and that wastes fabric, that wastes your time. So you want to make sure that it's done correctly, especially in the patterning phases, so that when you come to the construction phase, that it's a breeze. But again, and fashion and sewing and patterning is all trial and error, although, I mean, there are resources to help you get it right, but again, no one's perfect, so even me, like y'all saw me earlier struggling. But that's it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye! Be blessed.